Our centering thought from Mary Oliver's The Summer Day. Tell me, what is your plan to do with your one wild and precious life? As we enjoy the prelude, let's silence our cell phones, quiet our minds, and open our hearts.
Good morning. I'm going to play Morning Has Broken.
Love that song. Thanks, Karen. Welcome, everyone, to Summit Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. I don't know about you, but for me, it is just absolutely wonderful to be together on a Sunday morning with friends and fellow travelers. Welcome to you folks on Zoom as well. I'm Tom Brower, a 67-year-old man with almost completely gray hair and beard, black pants, and a multicolored Hawaiian shirt. Summit is a liberal religious community. We're bound together not by all believing the same things, we certainly don't, but by love and a shared commitment to a compassionate, just, and sustainable world. We draw our inspiration from all the world's religions, as well as humanist teachings, nature, science, philosophy, and personal practices. In other words, we are spiritual adventurers, and the world is our library, not just one sacred text to the exclusion of all else. Many rivers flow into the ocean of truth, and we enjoy drinking from all of them. If you're new and would like to learn more, we invite you to visit our website, summituuf.org, and make sure you click on the visitors button. Again, that's summituuf.org. If you're here in person, we invite you to stick around after service and talk to a member or two. We have 3 announcements that I know about. Ron first.
I was thinking about going to breakfast this last week, and so I thought, I'll go check out Gizmo's Kitchen. Nobody laughs. So I Googled Gizmo's Kitchen, and I discovered that it's like looking up the Grossmont College art department. It's a department of Grossmont College. They're the ones that have the resources available for Grossmont students, and not just homeless students, but all the students. And what we are supporting, we have a box out in the entryway. The what? Greeting room. Out in the greeting room, and it's for all the students. So you're participating in people. You know how cheap food is? They have GMO, genetically modified organisms. Why they call food organisms, I'm not sure. It is GMO, right? That's what the O is for? Organisms. Pretty soon we're going to be walking around sharing this space with GMOs, genetically modified organisms. And that's, the weird thing is that's not meant to be funny. That's the truth. How many of you are genetically modified? Sorry? Some of us really are. Anyway, that's what the food drive is for. And your Gillette razors and your shaving cream and your, oh my gosh, female hygiene products that you put out in the box, they go to Grossmont College. And it's a worthy endeavor.
Thank you, Rob.
Until Ron started announcing, I had no idea that we had so many students that are actually homeless, and that's what this is targeted toward. Mary next. You, or is it the two of you together? Joint effort. All right.
So a couple of things before we get to the one that I'm using Mary's help for. There's that, thank you. Not next Sunday, but the Sunday after, the final Sunday of the month. Hi, hello, I am the Reverend Casey Marie Pandell. It is so nice to be here with all of you today. I am a 5'4", 35-year-old woman with sort of wine, rosy-colored shoulder-length hair, wearing a black mesh top and a black dress with bats on it this week, and a purple stole, and black shoes. 2 weeks from this Sunday, we have our New to Summit event after the service, hosted by our Welcoming and Membership Committee. A number of us will be there. It is a lunch. I will be there. And this is your opportunity. If you would like to know more about the Summit community, this is your chance to come and hear about Unitarian Universalism, Summit as its own community, and get to know some of the folks that have been here. And if you are anything like me, when I went to my first New to UU class 8 years ago, I signed the book that day. So I will have the membership book as well if that's something that you've been thinking about. There's the Ministers Book Group after service today in the library at noon. And now we're going to do a pie raffle.
Is there anybody who didn't get to fill out a raffle ticket who wanted to? No? Okay. Several. How many pies, Suzanne?
I think we have 5 pies.
9 pies.
There are some in the basket.
Oh, in the basket? Okay, good.
So our first pie winner is Nick Orr.
So, Suzanne, do they come pick? Oh, come choose. Let me give the name tag on the pie. Nick, take this and go put it by your pie.
And Katie Orr.
Oh my gosh. And dig around more, Casey.
I'm trying.
There's a lot in here. Katie, your pie?
Oh, I see, you're gonna, if you choose one that should be refrigerated, you can take it to the yard.
Izzy!
Izzy!
Izzy! want a pie? But the kids are interested in it. Put one down.
So Izzy, go ahead and put that in your pie. And,
We got two.
nope, just Barbara D. Yay!
How we doing? We got some more?
And how many pies do we have left, Suzanne?
Well, Barbara has one of them, so. Mary? Yes? Why are we giving out pies? Casey, why are we giving out pies?
We are giving out pies because it is part of our annual pledge drive. Unitarian Universalist congregations are completely sustained by the people who are here in the community every week. So when you have the lights on, when you have Mary here in front of us, when we have programming like our Love at the Center class or our Ministers Book Group, those are all funded by your pledges and your plate donations throughout the year. So this is just one of our ways of saying thank you for being a part of our pledge drive, and that's why we've got the pies this week, because pie is our theme this year. 5 still. Mary.
Oh, give mine to Chrissy. It's her birthday today.
Yay! Laura Nelson.
Yay! And Laura helped us get those raffle tickets filled out, so. Two or three more.
Because I know me, I'll just keep pulling names and then we will run out of pies.
Okay, do I do two more? I think we have two more at least.
Mary Kuzik. Yay!
Sorry, all right.
And Jamie Cleland.
Yay, Jamie. Is that all the pies, or is there one more, Suzanne? One apple pie. Who's gonna get the apple pie?
David Cusick.
Oh, wow.
Yay!
Double pie family.
Give it to somebody. Okay.
Okay. They already won one.
Carol Legard.
Yay!
Hooray! Thanks, everyone. And Suzanne, will we have more pies for the next couple weeks?
Yes, please, pie makers, please keep baking, and if you haven't baked one yet,
Thank you, everyone.
Wow. We have one more announcement.
announcement. Isn't that right? Now? Yes.
If you have an announcement, Jenny, now's the time for it.
Now's the time, that's it. Okay. Lock my gate. Lock my gate.
All right. My name is Jenny Sarr. I've been a member of the board for 4 years. I will be moving off in this coming year. And it's been a pleasure and an enlightening thing because it's given me an opportunity to really understand the workings of Summit and the needs of Summit and how things get divided up and to sort of pie form. Wow. Are we? Oh, that's remaining. I was hoping that was what we'd got. So, okay. So we got a pretty clear pie chart. I think I don't need to explain it. We have quite a ways to go, and we need a lot of ingredients when go into a pie. I was thinking about something you said last week. You know, when you bake a pie, you need flour and butter, hopefully, and eggs maybe, and sugar usually, and fruit or nuts or something. But all of those ingredients are required to make a pie, and that's why we chose pie or Suzanne's great idea for using pies for our theme this year. And I was also thinking about this little quote that I happened to find. It's from Anne Frank. Everybody knows who Anne Frank was. No one has ever become poor by giving. So I thought that was a pretty good way to think about it. And I know that a lot of people, including myself, spent some time kind of thinking, I don't have the money to give to Summit. I kind of resisted becoming a member because I thought that means I have to give money every month, and I didn't have a lot of money, and so I did a lot of time things and talent things. But then I realized that the idea that there's not enough or there won't be enough is fear-based, is a fear-based idea, and I like to think of the universe as abundant, and I think we need to go, to keep things flowing, and part of the flow is we give and we receive, and we give and we receive, and that's the equation that we're looking for here. Okay, thanks.
Our shared principles compel us to acknowledge that our fellowship resides on unceded Kumeyaay land, which for more than 10,000 years has been and continues to be their home. We recognize the violent history of colonization in California and honor the legacy of the continuing presence of the Kumeyaay Nation. The flaming chalice was first used as a symbol by Unitarians during World War II to represent the core values of sacrifice and love in the face of terrible adversity. I'm going to invite my lovely wife forward to light our chalice. Sherry Ryan, by the way, if you haven't met her. We kindle a flame we trust will lead us forward as we travel in unknown lands, where the question, shall I ever get there, resounds. A clear, pure note in every silence. Now, please rise as you are able for our UU hymn and aspiration. Fellowship, may the quest for truth be its sacrament, and service be its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration. Please be seated. Now, a special treat, a personal testimonial from Liz McHugh.
I guess I have to tell you how old I am.
Only if you want to.
Right, okay. I'm 85, and I have blonde, gray hair, and I have a green top, green pants, black shoes. Okay. And I would like to take you on my religious journey. I was baptized a Methodist, and when I was in grade school, I attended vacation Bible school. And I was told that if you did not believe in God, you would go to hell. And I was very upset because I thought my dad would be going to hell. He never talked about religion or what he believed. My early college years were at Southern Oregon College in Ashland, Oregon. My sociology professor insisted that we needed to be able to back up our statements. After the class, some of us would go to the cafeteria and continue the discussion. That's when I learned to think. After reading The Last Temptation of Christ by Kasansagas, I realized that Jesus was only a man and that I could no longer believe in the Trinity. I chose to get my physical therapy degree from Loma Linda University, which is a Seventh-day Adventist school. And basically, I went there because it was a 2-year program and in California. While there, I attended church and sang in the choir. One Saturday, we had a guest speaker who talked about Christ coming to take his people to heaven, and then on the way, they would stop at some planet and have a picnic. That was the last time I sang in the choir and attended church. That experience made me realize that I needed to find a church that allowed me to grow, preferably one without dogma. In my search, I was referred to the Unitarian Church. I found a church in Riverside, and after the service, a group of us got together to continue talking about the sermon. I finally found a church home. My first job was working for the railroad, Santa Fe Hospital in Los Angeles. And an interesting side note was I stayed in the nurses' quarters, and I paid $10 a month, and I was able to go from my room to the hospital in an underground tunnel. After a year and a half, I accepted a job with Kaiser Permanente in Harbor City. I became a member of the Unitarian Church in Palos Verdes. That's where I met Mike, and we were married in 1966. After hearing that Kaiser bought an existing health plan in San Diego, I was able to transfer and become the first physical therapist at Kaiser in San Diego. After moving to San Diego, we became members of First Church. My husband died in 2003. I knew Al and Fern from another group that we belonged to, and they told me about Summit UU Fellowship, and the rest is history. I joined Summit in 2004. I feel that I have found a home. I have real friends, ones that I can count on to be there for me if needed. It makes me happy to be part of such a loving fellowship.
Thanks, Liz. Please rise as you are able for hymn number 189 in the gray hymnal. Duncan Matthew will cantor.
Light of ages and of nations, every race and every time has received thine inspirations, glimpses of thy truth sublime. Always spirits in decision, as the hand leave there within. Always hearts bound in contribution, found salvation from their sin. Reason's noble aspiration, truth in growing clearness saw. Conscience spoke its condemnation, or proclaimed eternal law. All thine inward revelations told thy saints there within. Over the guilty nations spoke thine everlasting word. Lo, that word abideth ever, revelation is not sealed. Answering now to our endeavor, truth and right are still revealed. That which came to ancient sages, Greek, barbarian, Roman, Jew, written in the soul's deep pages, shines today forever new.
I'm always so grateful to have Duncan here because I never would have even thought to look at that song for today's service, and it's a wonderful fit, so thank you. Thank God there's someone who's better at music than I am. Our joys and concerns portion of our service give us the opportunity to hold each other in our best days and in some of our hardest ones. Joys and concerns can be emailed or texted to myself or our worship chair, Stacy Sasaki, throughout the week, and can also be handwritten up near the chancel on a Sunday morning. Whether a joy or concern is shared aloud, everyone is welcome to light a candle. I have one today that I'm going to share with you. I generally try not to share mine because your job is not to hold me in things, but I have a cousin with a daughter who's about 7 or 8 years old who was in a really bad car accident yesterday. She's already had one surgery, and Tatiana is in the middle of a second surgery on her left eye today. So we are asking for prayers and good thoughts for sweet little Tatiana as she goes through her surgery in Georgia. And I will keep you all posted. We know not all joys and concerns are shared aloud today. Whether too heavy or too bright to share aloud, we hold you in our thoughts. And I would like to invite our Director of Religious Exploration, Mary Carter Vale, to the pulpit.
I have a prop. I'll fill you in a minute. Good morning. How's everybody today? My name is Mary Carter Vale. I'm your Director of Religious Exploration. And today I'm about 5'7", gray and red hair, glasses, and I'm wearing my Moon and Sun pants, and a blue top, and a brown sweater over it. We do this so that we can include all folks. That's one of the reasons we do all the I'll talk about the what we're wearing and everything, so folks who don't see so well can know, right? It's part of our centering the needs of all of us. So I'm trying to get my story queued up right here for y'all. This story is about being out in a desert. Has anybody been in the desert before? Some of us. Yeah, lost in the desert. So, as you know, we're in the third week of practicing trust, right? And so far, we've explored trusting ourselves and trusting others through the stories I've shared. This week, we're diving into what it means to trust life. Might be kind of hard right now, but we're trusting life, okay? So with that in mind, I wanted to tell you a story called Lost in the Desert. Once, a man got lost in the desert. The water in his canteen had run out 2 days ago, and he was on his last legs. He knew that if he didn't get some water soon, he would surely die. The man saw a small hut ahead of him, and he thought it must be a mirage, or maybe a hallucination. But having no other option, he moved toward the hut. As he got closer, he realized that it was real, so he dragged his tired body through the door with the last of his strength. The hut was not occupied, and it seemed like it had been abandoned for quite some time. The man entered into it, hoping, against hope, that he might find some water inside. The hut was not occupied and seemed like it had been abandoned for quite some time. The man entered into it, got a little bit of shade, and his heart skipped a beat when he saw what was inside the hut. A water hand pump. Has anybody seen a water hand pump before? Okay. Has anybody used one before? Yes. So this is where my little prop comes in. I'm going to pause the story for a second to show you a water hand pump. I didn't have a real one, but I pretended to make one. So the way a water hand pump works is it has a tube that goes down into the well. And I learned that I can't get one on my well unless I buy a special one because my well's 600 feet deep. But I do want one because I can't pump water without electricity right now. But a hand pump sits on top of the well with a pipe going down, and there's a handle. I'm using a stick. And when you move the handle like this, it creates pressure that pulls the water up. But there's a little secret when it hasn't been used in a long time. And I will tell you that in a minute, because it's part of the story. I just thought you might need a visual to know what a pump looked like. All right. So he saw the hand pump. He began working the hand pump, but no water came out. He kept at it, and still nothing happened. Finally, he gave up from exhaustion and frustration, threw his hands up in despair, and it looked as if all hope was lost. Then the man noticed a bottle of water in the corner. It was filled up and corked to prevent evaporation. He uncorked the bottle and was about to gulp down the sweet, life-giving water when he noticed a piece of paper attached to it. Handwriting on the paper read, "Use this water to start the pump. Don't forget to fill the bottle when you're done." He had a dilemma. He could follow the instructions and pour the water into the pump, or he could ignore it and just drink the water. What to do? If he let the water go into the pump, what assurance did he have that it would work? What if the pump malfunctioned? What if the pipe had a leak? What if the underground reservoir had long dried up? But what if the instructions were correct? Should he risk it? If it turned out to be false, he would be throwing away the last water he would ever see. Hands trembling, he poured the water into the pump. Then he closed his eyes, said a prayer, and started working the pump. This is called priming a pump, if you're not familiar with this. He heard a gurgling sound, and then water came gushing out, more than he could possibly use. He luxuriated in the cool, refreshing stream. He was going to live. After drinking his fill and feeling much better, he looked around the hut. He found a pencil and a map of the region, and the map showed that he was still far away from civilization, but at least now he knew which way he had to go. He filled the canteen for the journey. He also filled the bottle and put the cork back in. And before leaving the hut, he added his own writing to the words below the instruction. "Believe me, it works!" Exclamation point. So there's so much I love about this story. But the biggest thing is that the story reminds us of what can happen when we trust life and having the courage to take a leap of faith. The man did not know if the sign was true when it had been written, but he proceeded regardless. He trusted the idea that life is good and that his actions would be rewarded. Without knowing what to expect, he made a leap of faith. So in the weeks and days ahead, may all of us, kids and adults alike, hold on to the story as a reminder to be open to trusting life and to be brave enough to take a leap. So thank you. That is my story for today. We're going to talk in RE a little bit more about what priming a pump means. So, all right, you guys ready to go back and play in RE? We got some fun games today. We're going to be playing games of trust, of trusting in life. So.
All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to be singing hymn 114, Forward Through the Ages, in the gray hymnal, excuse me. You'd rise and stand if you're able and willing. Sorry.
A joyful sound, whether that's a woohoo or a hallelujah. And now I'm going to ask you to join me in a time of silent prayer, meditation, or reflection as we read words by Richard Trudeau entitled, "Help Us Make This Church a Refuge from the World." O God of life, help us make this church a refuge from the world, a place where the rules are different. May this be a place, for example, where no experience is necessary, where people are encouraged to risk new things, where a university administrator can try her hand at plumbing if she wants, or a plumber can help manage the finances, or a banker can teach the 5-year-olds. May this be a place where people always feel that their efforts have been worthwhile and their energy well spent. May this be a place where, as in children's baseball leagues, everyone gets to play. Oh, God of life, help us make this church a refuge from the world, a place where the rules are different. May no one feel invisible here or feel worried about what others might be thinking of them. May no one be bored here. If a person isn't interested in what the minister is talking about today, may they be excited by the music or by a conversation at coffee hour. May this be a place where people are touched, if not by something said, then perhaps by something sung, or by the light coming through the windows, or by the sense that the people who come here support one another. May this be a place where everyone feels safe, safe to follow their thoughts wherever they lead, safe to believe whatever they must, and safe to share whatever is on their minds and whatever is in their hearts. Oh, God of love, help us make this church a refuge from the world, a place where the rules are different, a place where our wells can fill up again, where we can be refreshed and renewed, so that when we return to the world with our batteries recharged, we can help transform the world into a place where the rules are different too. Amen. So I'm going to share a secret with you today. Every Sunday when I get up in front of you, since I've been preaching without a script, is an exercise in trust. It's trusting that I've got the tools to still do this work without words in front of me. You can ask Mary almost every single Sunday. Without fail, I look at her and go, I'm not sure what's going to come out of my mouth today. And she goes, Casey, doesn't it always go fine? And I'm like, I think so. No one's kicked me. And that's a really big ask of everyone in this room today, too. Because you come here trusting that I'm going to hold you and care for you, and that you will be held and cared in this space by each other. This week's been a little bit overwhelming, not just on a personal level for myself, but it sort of feels like the world's descending a little into madness every day. Let's all take a big deep breath. And yet every day goes on. As scary as the world seems, as new decisions are being made every day and we're being bombarded by more information, still, every day, we have what we need to go on. A few months ago, I was watching a video. I am sort of chronically online, which is helpful in some ways and not helpful if you have anxiety, so I don't recommend it. But there was a video I saw where someone asked a young woman in her late 20s, early 30s, how her relationship with her mother was. And she paused and she said, it's not great, but what helped me forgive my mom for the things that hurt was remembering that this is the first time she's lived a life too. I had never heard that before. As far as we know, this is the first time we've all lived this life. And even if we have multiple lives, this is the first time we've lived this life, in this year, in these bodies, with these personalities. And somehow, we always have the tools to do what we need. And this morning, when I was looking at my blurb going, what was I talking about when I wrote that last month? I really should take better notes every month. I heard that girl in my head. This is the first time you're doing this. So I know there's a lot of grace that comes with that too. I think sometimes, especially when things get scary and when things get kind of anxious, it's really easy for us to just, I have a plan, I have to stick to the plan. I'm going to do point A, point B, point C, and we sort of just run through life. I think when we do that, we miss the really beautiful parts of it. And I'm not talking necessarily like the big grand gestures. I'm talking the sunset or the hawk that has made its home in the pecan tree across the street. It's these little connections when we're trusting that we have all the information we need. Sometimes we call it our intuition. Some people might say they're led by spirit or God. But that little voice inside our heads, or maybe it's that little feeling in our stomach, or maybe it's both, that's that sort of trust in the process, trust in life and trust in ourselves that we inherently have. And sometimes it's really tough to trust that, especially if we're feeling dysregulated. Who's been feeling dysregulated recently? Let's all take another big deep breath together. Do we feel a little less dysregulated now? I didn't know you needed that. I just thought maybe you might. And that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. When I decided to go to seminary, I had at that point already applied for grad school twice in London for a drama program. Hint, I didn't get in. And I was really worried about applying again. I said, what if I don't get in? What happens? I think I want to be a minister. I feel called to be a minister. There's a voice in my head that says this is where I'm supposed to be. What happens if I don't get in? What happens? What happens if you don't try? What happens if you don't listen to that little voice that might be guiding you somewhere? Don't think it's a secret that I ended up here because I listened to that voice, and there have been a lot of little voices, sometimes my own, sometimes other people's, that brought me to this place with you today. So it's a little scary every single Sunday when I get up in front of you knowing that you're trusting me to do this work with you. But I know every single week when I get here, when I see all of you from your seats, or those of you at home, I can't see those of you at home, but hi. When I can feel all of you here, that's that little voice, I think, that tells us that this is the place to be. I tell people all the time, you don't come to church on a Sunday because you're bored. You can sit at home in your PJs and have a cup of coffee. That little voice is telling us there's a reason we're here today. And when we trust that little voice inside ourselves, we trust that we have the information we need to make the choices that are going to guide us. I don't think it's about finding the destination. I think it's about listening to ourselves to find our way on the journey. So when I ask the question, what are you going to do with this one precious, wild, beautiful life? That doesn't mean you have to go run a marathon, but if that's what you want to do, I'm so excited for you. That little voice that says, maybe I want to go work with the kids in RE today. Or maybe I've never baked a pie, but I'll try it for the pledge drive. I've never helped paint a bench before. all of these little things that help build our community, those little things are part of that journey. And they're part of the things that help build this community more and more to get us to the place that we are going to go next. Do any of us know what's going to happen tomorrow? Do any of us know what's going to happen at the end of this sermon? I don't even know what's going to happen at the end of this sermon yet. But I know that here, when we're in this space together, we have the tools to go on that journey by ourselves and together. We have the space to trust each other, to trust ourselves. One of the biggest gifts that you give me every week is your trust in me, because I don't always trust myself every Sunday. And it's not that I can't do the work. It's that there's that little voice in the back of my head that goes, are you sure you're going to do it right? But that's one of the traps. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. What matters is that we're following that intuition, that spirit. We're having that faith holistically because it comes from a place of love and care. So when we come here on a Sunday, on our worst days, we are trusting the process that we have made a community together that will hold us in those places. When I come here on a Sunday and preach in front of you, I am trusting the process of my education, but of the trust that you have given me, that we have the tools together to make this what it is. It's not just the sermon. It's not just the music. It's not just the Zoom team. It's all of us together finding our way on this journey. And I think on days where we're having all the dysregulation and all of the bad news, sometimes it's hard to trust that space over and over again. I think that's why we get drawn to these places on a Sunday. Because no matter what happens out there, we can rely pretty consistently that everyone else here has followed their own journey to be in these seats together today. Because this is a place that matters to people. The work we do here together matters to people. If you've never been a board president before and you take that leap and you try, it's because you care about this community and want to see it be successful. When you show up for your first sermon, or for those of you who are here for your second sermon after you heard our pledge kickoff last week, you were trusting that you were going to get something you needed today. I know sometimes it's hard to follow our intuition, especially if we find that it has not led us to places that we wanted it to sometimes. But this is the first time we're doing this together. It's our first time doing it in our hearts. I think there's enough trust in ourselves and enough trust in the process to really make that worth trying over and over again. When I say sometimes I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth, I don't mean that in a scary way, I promise. Sometimes I have to trust that I might not have perfect words, but I have to trust that Spirit has me here with you and holding you in this place. And when I can trust that process, and I can trust all of you, that's when I see some really wonderful magic happening. This is why when people say, "What do you do for work?" I don't tell them I'm an accountant. I get to tell them that I am here ministering to and with all of you. Because when you show up here trusting that intuition on a Sunday, or for those of you who are at home when you tune in with us, we are building something really magical together that we can be really proud of. We don't have to be perfect. We don't have to follow a particular doctrine. We don't have to say the right words. We just have to trust that we are in this space together. And that when we fall short, because we will, we have to trust the process of forgiveness. We have to trust the process of compassion. We have to trust the process of community. And I see that happening every single Sunday I'm here. And for that, I am so grateful to be a part of a spiritual community like this, because it is as much about showing up for ourselves as it is about showing up for each other. If we can let go of the perfectionism and just trust that we have all the tools we need in our soul, that's when we do some really wonderful work. So may it be, and amen.
We'll now receive the morning offering. For Sunday morning gifts, provide this fellowship the financial resources to help build a better world together. And of course, they also keep the lights on and the staff paid. The smallest gift is welcome. For those of you on Zoom, please select the Sunday plate option in the chat box.
For the offertory, I'm going to play a piece called We Are Travelers in the Journey. It's an old hymn tune from the Sacred Harp from 1844, arranged by Mark Hayes. And many of these songs are best-loved hymns, like Amazing Grace is from this collection.
Please rise. Yes, that first. Please rise as you are able for our closing hymn, number 1052. You can find it in the teal hymnal.
This is a new hymn for us, I think. I don't think I remember singing it, and I just wanted to warn you, there's, after the first phrase, there's like 2 bars of piano, and I don't know if I should just cut it so I'm going to trust that Duncan can give us an upbeat when you have to sing, so you can wait. And after
practice.
each phrase. Okay, it's a beautiful hymn. I hope you. I have an introduction too. That also makes it fun.
source of life enters my soul as a song to sing of the oneness of everything.
You may be seated.
Thank
We-
you for that one, Duncan. I have a benediction before that, right?
Oh, you do. Sorry, forgot the bit.
It's okay. Sometimes I forget too. When we talk about the kind of faith I'm talking about today, I don't mean without question. I don't mean without concern or regard. Of course, there's something to be said for sitting and reflecting with ourselves. Seldom is it so easy to just hear that thought in our head and say, yes, that's the right answer, though sometimes it is. When we're doing this kind of trusting as a spiritual exploration, it's important to take our thoughts and our feelings together in context as we do this exploration. Our hearts and our minds work together to help us find that faith. So I encourage you, even through the dysregulation this week and in the coming days, in the good days and the hard days, to just trust that you have all the information you need. And if you don't feel that you do, I'm sure you know someone who has the information who could help you come to those decisions. Because we build this trust in ourselves and with each other over and over every single time we come together. Amen, shalom, salam, ashe, namaste, and blessed be. Go now in peace. May the light within you be a blessing to the world.
We close our service by extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. If you're new, we invite you to stay afterwards to join us here in the sanctuary. It'll be about 11:15 to discuss the sermon topic. It's what we call our community gathering. Or you can head right over to the salon for food and fellowship. The salon is in a separate building in that direction on the other side of the parking lot. Folks on Zoom, you're also welcome to join us too and to contribute. And if you don't know about how to contribute to our community gathering, there is a way of signaling a virtual hands up. And if you're not sure how to do that, just put your actual hand up. We'll be watching and you'll get your chance to contribute. Let's join hands for the closing circle song.
As soon as we're done with this, I'm going to go into my office and grab a couple things, and I'm going to go straight to the library. So when we're done with the circle gathering in like 15 minutes, give me like another 5 and meet me in the library. How's that? Is that okay? I mean, we could talk about it right now if it doesn't need to be private.
No. And I was wondering if you know of anything
like that would be less rent, or that might be able to help with getting you the extra money?
Right now